Hey guys, welcome to Journey Podcast. I'm your host, Smitha. You're going to hear a new segment in Journey Podcast as Coach It Forward. Hope you guys enjoy. Hello everybody, I have Florence Leonardo with me today. She's a confidence coach for women and a spiritual guide. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the show, Flo.
Hello, Smitha. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Please go ahead and explain us, the first question I wanted to ask, confidence coach for women. Why only for women?
Why only for women? Yeah, right. It's like we can all use confidence from a child, even if they're still trying to figure it out, or someone who's a grown person, men and women. But as I'm learning in the niche of coaching, it's a lot easier to speak to a specific group of people. It's as opposed to yelling to everyone. But if you call just like, hey, it's you, Smitha, I'm talking to, then it's like it's easier to build that connection. So women for sure is who I want to build that connection with.
Being a woman, it is easy, do you think? Or is there any specific reason only for women?
So as far as confidence, per my experience since I'm a woman, I feel that women have struggled with confidence so much more than men, although that's not something I can clarify for sure. But just per observation, it just seems like women kind of struggle and battle with insecurities more than men.
Before we get into what exactly your work is, so on and so forth, would you mind please explaining what your story is? Why did you start this kind of a work?
Oh, let's go deep. Let's start there. Well, I'm going to be 40 this year. And I would say, I'm getting emotional already. I would say for at least the first 3 decades of my life, I've struggled with insecurities and low self-esteem to a point that even though I wasn't conscious, it was insecurity and self-esteem that I was struggling with. It was my self-esteem and insecurities were so bad that I've experienced depression, and also to a place where I'm like suicidal about my life. Like I just did not want to live. And I was the first one to self-reject myself because I would look in the mirror and I would not find myself beautiful. I would not find anything worthy of admiration. I do not see myself as lovable. I have accepted that if so-and-so leaves me or I don't have friends, it's because I'm not worthy to have those connections. So definitely someone who is now coaching women on confidence is someone who has battled with insecurities and low self-esteem like most of my life. And I would say probably just in the last decade is when I actually am having more awareness about how to be confident. Where does that start? Is it something that I have to consciously have to talk myself through? Is this something that can be more of an easy flow where I can just sit up here, like right now, I'm talking to you and I'm not thinking about, I got to be confident. I got to know what to say. Like, no, I'm confident in myself. I'm comfortable here and I can flow from my heart.
When you were mentioning for 3 decades you were suffering with that. So when you say that timeline, I am sure it has started in childhood. Were there any reasons that it started at the time? What could be that? How did you come out, or did you talk to your parents about it anytime?
Yeah, so I am born 100% Filipina. So in growing up in the Philippines, feelings is not something I experienced that we talk about in my family. I don't know if it's just the culture of my family. You're raising your hand, but I don't know if it's just the culture of my family, the culture of Philippines or Asia, or it's actually, yeah, actually I was saying, I don't know if it's just the culture of my family or it's the Asian culture that we don't talk about feelings. So I've learned to suppress them. And then my parents were not married. They weren't married married, and at 6 years old, when I was 6 years old, they separated. And at that time, I wasn't conscious that I was internalizing all of these experiences as if it was my fault. And I did not realize that subconsciously I am creating, going back to self-rejecting myself and creating this narrative and story that it's my fault, I'm not good enough. And that's continually adding on to the insecurities and low self-esteem. Only in the last 10 years, as I've shared with you, is that I started learning about childhood trauma and healing those childhood wounds, that I look back and I realize now that, oh yeah, I was telling myself that it was my fault when it's not my fault. So I've had to like undo a lot of stuff from childhood. And from time to time, there are still certain subconscious belief that shows up, but I'm able now to identify those voices, like, oh, that's my dad's voice and I sounded like me now. That's my mom's voice and that's not me. What's your truth, Florence? I am good. I am lovable. I am beautiful. I'm worthy. So yeah. Family stuff is where it started.
It definitely took like a long time for sure for somebody like us, I have to say, who doesn't have this, and where it started very young. It takes a lot of time, energy. How was that journey for you? Like the healing journey, once you realized it's not your fault, that is a big thing to realize that. And from there, actually to work to a point to be like this today, to be standing like so confident, say like, hey, it's not my mistake. And this is what I am. This is what my truth is. How was that journey? Like, where did you start and how was that for you?
I was 29. I'm getting emotional. You can see like I have, even now I'm still healing. I'm so sensitive to my own energy now that I know when healing is happening. I did not expect to sit here and feel this, but I'm grateful because I'm having release. I'm so much more confident and comfortable about my story now, but I still am healing to this day. So the journey of healing, it started to me that I can remember at 29 years old, after a 7-year relationship has ended. I felt so lost. I'm like, oh my gosh, who am I? It sounds cliche, but I really did hit rock bottom because I have placed all of my trust and any confidence that I may know on this person. And after 7 years, they finally broke up with me and did not want to be with me. And the last memory that I remember is that they said they wanted to find someone that's perfect for them. And I'm just not it. I'm just not it. And I really thought that I was going to marry them. So I began the path of like, I was really aware that I'm seeking. I want something. I'm not sure what it is, but I want something. I feel empty. I feel like I'm not good enough. I was still suicidal that time, but I was so scared to die that it's always just being at the edge of the ledge, Is that, yeah, but never really jumping. Like, I don't know if I can jump, but I want to. And the path in my seeking, the path that made sense to me, that I felt I could take or walk upon to experience healing, is the path of religion. Now in the Philippines, I grew up as Catholic and all of that, but wasn't really aware. I go back to the word awareness because that has begun really my journey of relationship with myself. The more I become aware that I'm going for this, why anyway, so like religion has been my path, and Christianity, where I was conscious, I'm going to church, I'm going to know about Jesus. And that's what I started going after. But so as I did that, probably for a good 7-8 years, being really like, I received so much healing. I started knowing about myself. There's so much chaos prior to it that when I found that path, when I walk on that path, I understand now why I was so attracted to it, because it just really brought such order into my life. And I feel that religion, that's what it does. It gives you a certain structured path to where there for sure you're gonna see outcome. Now, I would have to say, just to finish this story of the path that I've taken, I don't identify as a Christian anymore. And because I've gotten to a place after 7 and 8 years where people would say, Christian people would say that you're only 7, 8 years Christian, but you're doing this and all of this stuff. But still, I still felt empty. There's still something that feels like that's not the end of my stop. And so 2020 is when I told myself, what did I learn in Christianity? I learned that God is love. Okay, God, if you're love, I'm going to go outside of this house, outside of the church, and I'm going to feel love there. I'm going to find love because you're not in the building, right? You're everywhere. And I'm telling you, talking about, I've had so much healing, 7, 8 years, and I felt so traumatized that I feel like I could not leave. I was so scared not to go to church on Sunday. I was scared not to do what I've learned to do for 7, 8 years. It seems like I go back to when I was 29, of experiencing that, like everything was crumbling, but I trusted and I continue to meditate. God is love. God is love. God is love. God is everywhere. There, I can go to a bar and God's going to be there. And sure enough, I began on the path that is authentic for myself. I know we're talking about healing, but all of this is part of healing. I feel like every day and all that I am doing, just like I was sitting here and I was experiencing healing, healing is everywhere. Healing is always present. God indeed is love, and therefore healing is always here when you are connecting to love. So now I do, as I kind of close this part of healing, now I am walking on my authentic path, and what that looks like is me trusting one step at a time, where I feel like if I'm exploring something, if I'm professing something, if I'm convicted about something, it's truly my truth. And even if I'm the only one in the world that's holding on to that truth, I am at peace with that because I am exploring what's authentic for me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. In your speaker sheet, I believe so, I have read something like homecoming to self. What does that mean?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's that. I mean, as I completed that that story about the healing, it is, I'm home to me. And when I use that word homecoming, like here at my home, when I walk into my door, there's just a sense of nothing matters but to rest, but to be present here. I'm home. I'm not performing. I'm not striving. I'm just here. Socks off, shoes off, feet on the coffee table. I'm home. I'm rested, and I'm looking on my bed right now. Like it's that. It's been a long day, but I'm home. And so I say that to myself when I feel doubting and confused of whatever is going on there. Like I just tune in. I mean, I don't have to put my hand here on my chest, but I do. I feel into myself. And when I feel at peace, when nothing matters right now and I don't need to figure anything out, to me, that's home. I'm home. And I'm just gonna be here right now. I'm home with you.
In
Because
that con-
I've lived a life where twice already that I can consciously remember where I felt empty. I was in a relationship. After that, I felt empty. I followed a set of religion that really I do accredit what all that has happened in 7, 8 years. I feel like I've grown, and it's like I feel like God is saying you can step out now. You got this. But now it's I'm home. I don't have to follow a set of rules or belief or anything, as long as I believe in myself. In some way, there is the aspect of religion. My religion right now is myself. I believe in me. That's homecoming to me.
in the same context, self-awareness, what is self-awareness in your words, and how somebody can be aware of themselves?
Yeah. Oh gosh. That.
As we always hear self-awareness, self-love, self-esteem, these words are like very common that we hear in different contexts from different people. But the actual definition or like the actual meaning can be seen only with few people. I mean, it's not like a wrong context that other people use, but for different reasons. So being a confidence coach, what exactly those things are for you, and how do you explain for me? If let's say I don't have self-awareness, or like I don't know what self-love is, how do you explain that to me? Like, yeah, what those things are, how can I achieve those?
Oh, wonderful question. To me, self-awareness is the door to having that relationship with yourself. And in that relationship, love is not something I want to be loved, but it blossoms. It's not something you effort, it grows. So I open the door into my home. I come home, I open the door. The door is self-awareness. And I'm tuning in. I'm paying attention to how I'm thinking without having to correct it. I mean, you and I at least have been to one really intimate relationship, right? So let's just, it's that. It's like, at least for me, more and more I'm realizing that I don't prefer a partner. I'm currently single. I don't prefer a partner who tells me, don't think that way, stop being depressed. Like, are you serious? Get out. Get out. No, I want a partner who says like, if I'm sad, he's gonna sit with me, he's gonna embrace me. That is love. That is not me trying to tell him to love me. That is not him telling me I'm gonna love you. Like, that's love right there. So self-awareness is the door, a beginning to a relationship with you, where you're simply going to observe how you think, how you talk, without telling you not to talk that way, not to think that way, to just compassionate witness. I'm just going to witness you, Florence. Oh, I realize you did not like when somebody talked to you that way. Okay. Oh, I realized that you were triggered when this person did this. Okay. And no judgment to self. That is love. It's overflowing. It's just naturally, I look at myself in the mirror now with or without makeup, and I'm like, you're beautiful, because I'm in love with myself. I'm in love with myself because I've learned to just witness myself and allow me, my heart, to fall in love with this beautiful woman that I look at the mirror, that I wake up every day and I go to sleep with every day. So now, yes, I'm yearning for a partner. I really am. Like, how many nights do I need to sleep by myself? But I'm so in love with me, and I have this such great intimacy with myself that nobody is going to get in between my relationship with myself who doesn't come in love and compassion. Like, I know what love and compassion feels like because I give that to myself. So I yes, I'm holding space for both my desire to be in partnership, as well as I'm holding space knowing that no one gets to treat me anything less than the way I treat myself. I love myself, and I can, it's like my mirror. It's my mirror against somebody who comes in and doesn't hold space for me, doesn't hear me out, like doesn't have emotional intelligence. No way. No way. But at the same time, like I said, I'm yearning. I know I want a partner. I want to experience life and share life with a partner in intimacy. Yes.
In relationships, it never really like works in the way like, okay, my interest should be yours or something like that. There will be always like a compromising point at times. And some of the points where you might not feel like, yeah, it is the point that you can compromise. I'll give you an example. Let's say, for example, you wanted to go out with your friends on whatever the time that you have. The other person is waiting for you. This is like a simple, basic scenario that happens with every relationship. So I'm just picking that up. Even I'm single, so I don't have any reservations for this. I heard this from a lot of people, like, okay, I wanted to go out with a bunch of friends on so and so date, but the partner comes in and says like, hey, I thought like we would go out. Is that really necessary for you to go out with friends? It's him, or like it's partner versus the other friends. You had to pick. If you are picking your friends and leaving, the partner is so, it's not like insecure, but like so upset, and it goes in different directions of unnecessary talk. Like, hey, you're not giving me importance in your life, or like, yeah, you're choosing yourself all the time. It's everything about you. It has to be only about you in this relationship. I don't find myself anywhere around you. In such kind of scenarios, like, yeah, being in a position to coach, how do you tell anybody to balance out that scenario, or like how to deal with that kind of, what kind of words that you use to come out of that scenario? As I said, like, it has to be a compromise at some point with one or the other thing. It doesn't mean, it's not like it's always going to be my words, it's always going to be the partner words. It has to be in between all the time. So how do you say that?
Mm, yeah. So
It's like
I
a
don't know how
basic
you feel
scenario
about
for
this,
it.
but yeah. So I mean, I'm not a relationship coach, so that,
Oh
but
yeah.
I am definitely willing to, like, I step up in that if I feel truly, if I feel intuitively led, and I have some insight, because I feel like when it comes to relationship, the two of you definitely should be the one talking, but I don't believe in compromise. I don't believe in compromise. And even on my dating profile, I specifically says, I'm looking for a match, not compromise. Compromise to me, just the word alone, we can either look up a dictionary or what, but the general meaning of compromise is something less than, or something that is not the best. So compromise, as much as it appears like, oh, we're having an agreement, both of you still are not experiencing your best, and that can
Yes.
build up,
Yes.
especially because I read energy and I do energy work. So to me, it's like, if we're not a match, we might as well not explore. That's why I feel that it's important to really know what you prefer before you get into a relationship. But obviously there are people who are already in a relationship, and they just are very committed to that. That's admirable, but also at the same time, you can continue to experience this feeling of, oh, this is not what I want. This is not what I want. This is not what I want, but you're still there. So you mentioned the word balance. I feel that as long as you're staying, it goes back to authenticity. As long as you're staying true to yourself, it makes you feel happy to please your partner. That's your truth. But if you're pleasing your partner at the same time, you can just feel like your energy changes, and you're like, that I don't really want to do that. What is true then? I mean, you just really, authenticity, it seems like a hashtag, but really authenticity is staying true to you, regardless of, it may appear I'm pleasing my partner, but what's true to me is it makes me happy to do that. Okay, then that's my truth. But if I'm saying that, no, I cannot do that, and it
Yes.
makes me happy to stay true to it, to say no to it, I really have to stand my ground. Even if he or she is going to get upset, I have to get to a place where I'm confident about my truth, and know that I'm, at the end of the day, I'm going to end up only connecting with people that truly resonate with me. And I won't have to be in those dynamics that where we're either push and pull. I've experienced a lot of those push and pull, like, you're 1 minute you're warm and then you're cold. Like, that's just a lot of energy.
But that was beautifully put. It's not, though I used the compromise word, it's like a give and take, where you're feeling like, yeah, you're having that happiness, though you are giving it away.
Yeah, as long as it makes you happy to see them happy, and that's your truth, then that's good. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think in your sheet, I read something like flow state self-mastery. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
Yes, thank you for asking. So I think some of the things that and I felt very invited with you is like, if you're flowing, just go. And a simple term that is flow, where it's like I'm not thinking about it, and I'm just like, and you definitely need space to be able to flow, meaning like either an agreement between the two of you. Like you said earlier, I felt very invited that, oh gosh, I can really just not be up here and just go with how my energy is flowing. But to me, what I've learned in myself, and then observation is that in others, is that self-mastery is that the ability to really be authentic to your true nature and feelings, the ability to express yourself
Hmm.
confidently, and then express yourself around people, and to be able to, the ability to emotionally be intelligent, to hold capacity. Like some people cannot receive your truth, and to not shrink from that, and just be, let people feel what they feel, and not feel like you have to change you just to please someone.
God.
Self-mastery, it always goes back to you, like you're going back to my language, you're home in yourself, you know how to express yourself, you know how to hold capacity when somebody else is expressing themselves, like really being confident and authentic in who you are. So I coach not just on confidence, but on authentic self-expression, because I feel like confidence is more like a manifestation, like the outfit. It's like a lot of times people think that if I put on the outfit first, if I be confident first, then I'm going to show up confidently or something like that. But to me, I feel that the more you are confident, the more you are self-expressed, unapologetically being you, confidence, it's a byproduct. It just shows up without having to think about, like, I'm going to be confident. This is how I be confident. If I talk this way, if I dress a certain way, I'll be confident. Those are all outward manifestation, I feel. There's so many different ways
Yeah,
to
to put it.
approach this
Yeah,
topic. Yeah.
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 Let's just say, before even asking the question, I kind of like know half of the answer, but yeah, it's like if you are starting to, if somebody comes to you for help, where did you start is where they are in their stage, or like in their life, which is understandable. But let's just say I'm struggling with a lot of things, like I don't have self-love, like whatever. How do you start working with me, or like where did you start working with me?
Yeah. So how do I word this? Hold on a minute. Let me just tune in. So I used to think that I want to help everybody. And now I'm realizing that there is a specific, kind of like with dating. There's all, I don't want to date every man out there. Okay. And I feel that, and I even add this on my profile, everyone is good enough for one date, but I don't even want to put my energy and attention on just one date. Like I'm intuitive, so it's like at the meeting, if we're not a match, one of us is not. I believe in service to both, not just one person. Even though I say I'm a coach, I don't believe I'm the only one serving. I believe that it
Yes.
has to be an energetic match. So that's a long intro to how I start helping people. I pre-qualify who I help, because that allows me to test if we're an energetic match. It may not be right now, but maybe later on we would be a match. So I pre-qualify I pre-qualify women by letting them take a 22-day intimacy engagement. And this is for 22 days. You are going on a date, if you will, being intimately engaged with yourself. And from that 22 days, when we talk on this 22nd day, you're either going to say, I don't like the way that you lead to that 22 days, because that's without me. I have a way that I lead you for 22 days. And that's great, because not everyone's going to be a match to me. Or after 22 days of experiencing me through that, I have videos recorded to walk you through it. And you say, I resonate with you. Definitely. I like your language and the way you perceive things. And from that place, then we can explore coaching, because I don't believe that just because somebody says I want to be coach, it doesn't necessarily mean they are my match though. I don't want compromise. I want match. I believe in a reciprocated, you did mention the give and take, but yeah, I believe that not only are you being served, I show up. I have a lot of energy. I show up. So if I show up, I believe that I'm also going to get served, because we resonate. Yes.
That is so true. I mean, yeah, you have to have that frequency match. It's just not like, yeah, I mean, I need a confidence coach and I'm going to get somebody who's, you might be like excellent at your job, but you might not be the exact match for me. Yeah.
Matching is important. And I have experience working with somebody who we're it's not on them, it's just that because before it's like I want to help everybody, kind of like you asked me in the beginning, why women? Before I'm like anyone, but anyone is not my match. And I feel like we experience our best, we get more out of the investment when truly there is matching intention, matching energy, and then matching emotional capacity. I would say, yeah. Otherwise, that balance beam, you're talking about balance, it's going to hang low on one and it's going to be a lot of weight on one person. It's just, it's not a good outcome from my experience.
Whatever the cases that you have, I shouldn't be saying cases, but yeah, to whomever you have coached so far, I'm pretty sure like everything was like so satisfactory to you, because end of the day, you are giving their solutions for them. You're letting them choose what they can do or with the confidence that you're building to them. Having that said, was there any specific case that you are like overly satisfied or like overwhelmed with the results that you got from the other person?
Yeah, my satisfaction, like whether I coach you or I did it, my satisfaction all the time is when someone starts professing their love for themselves, like this romance within oneself. Like, I mean, we brag about, maybe I don't know if you've experienced, but I've experienced it where I brag about the person I was with. I'm like, look, everyone taking picture with this relationship and talking about like, so, he got me this and he did this for me. Like, that kind of romantic relationship within oneself, when someone starts talking about how much they love themselves and how beautiful they see, like, to me, that fires me up. I'm like, let me sign up, let me work with you. To me, it's that. So this 22 days intimacy engagement, it is that at the end of 22 days, not only do you resonate with me, out of your words coming out of your mouth is gentleness and kindness and compassion to you. I'm a match to you. I definitely want to work with that because I cannot let you see something you don't see in yourselves. So I am not telling you anything more. I'm guiding you. To me, that's how I coach, is like, let me help you. Let me help guide you in this relationship with yourself. I know I said earlier, I'm not a relationship coach, but it's kind of like that. It's kind of like me coaching you in some things that maybe you're not unclear of within yourself. So that is showing up in maybe insecurity and all that stuff. But yeah, to me, it's that. It's the when I hear and I can feel, like, I'm so sensitive to energy. I can feel when somebody genuinely love themselves. It doesn't mean that they don't doubt. It doesn't mean that they don't get insecure. Those are human experiences. I don't think you can void out of that. But it's the ability to be compassionate to yourself, to not be judgmental, to not be analytical. I can hear that in someone's voice and body language. Why? Because I was that. I was the most judgmental, self-rejecting of myself, truly did not believe in me and hating myself. Like, I was all of that. So yeah.
So true. And when you are actually doing this work, or like just start talking to me, for example, like you just started with me, knowing or understanding at the place where I am, we already established like we have that good frequency, we are a good match in your words, and we are about to start work. But however, you understood like there is a lot of work that I had to put in. I mean, while you're coaching to me, I might not be at a place like, okay, I can just take whatever you are saying and I can just move on. It's not like a couple of times thing or like even a couple of months kind of a thing. But if you understood, like I have to put in a lot of work to where I have to reach to what my goal is, how do you guide them? Sometimes it is like, okay, if I feel like I don't want to spend so much of time for this, or like I don't have that kind of money, whatever that reasons are, I'm just like throwing it out. How do you actually explain me to understand I have to do this journey to reach where I wanted to reach? It's not going to be like one time thing, two time things, or something like that. It has to be the work that I have to put in, and it will take time to heal that. If I'm not interested to hear that time frame or the work that I have to put in, but I want the results, how do you tell that to me? Like, hey, you need to work this. It's not going to be like just turn like that or any of it, because it took like 3 decades to you. The same thing with me. It's not going to be like an overnight thing for anybody. So how do you say to them like, yeah, you need to understand where you are standing, so this is going to be your journey?
Yeah. So that sounds like I can feel my body reacted to that. That sounds a lot of effort. So that's why match to me is like that the whole 22 days that takes care of that, because at the end of
Okay,
22 days, if you feel like you cannot show up for you, like 22 days you're so showing up for you, like you are really pursuing yourself. The
gotcha.
22 days has three different I don't want to use the word level. That's not what I'm looking for, but there's like three different
Categories.
areas you can focus on. You can focus on friendship with yourself, you can focus on courtship, or you can focus on romance with yourself. So when you focus on romance, you're doing all three. You're doing the friendship and the courtship. There's work in 22 days,
Okay,
because kind of like if you're a male and you are courting a female, you're putting in work. So for 22 days, it is taking care of all of that work. At the end of 22 days, if you are not, whatever it takes, I'm all for me, that's not my match, like I said, because I don't believe in I having to convince you. I'm not going to convince you on your worth. I'm not going to convince you on how great you are, how lovable you are. I'm not going to convince you in that. That's not my job. My job as a support, as a coach, is to really come alongside you, you already knowing what you want. So my coaching is not a program. My the only program that I offer is on that 22 days. Meaning program to me is like everybody's taking the same thing. And even in the 22 days, it's the same in the sense of 22 days of focusing on you, but as far as the result, it's different for everyone. So once I come into coach, it's a lot like me holding space and you're sharing your stuff and just listening in for things that maybe you're not hearing and missing out, and then not telling you you're not hearing this, but more like, what do you think about this? Allowing you really to own your stuff, to really come back to yourself, going back to really you. After coaching with me, you are going to come out the most confident you've ever been, because I'm not, you can't say I'm confident because of Florence. You're going to say I'm confident because I came home to myself. So I don't need you to profess in your mouth, out of your mouth, my name. I am there really as a strong hold energetic presence because I've done it for myself. I am willing, and that that is investment. So yes, I am having an exchange of money, but the investment is on you, and I'm being there as a support to you as you put an investment, and I'm holding, in some way you're paying for my energy. Yes, I'm there as a support, holding space for you. There's a lot, because like I said, I earlier, you asked me about either how to introduce me or something like that. I don't do anything that doesn't have spirituality in it. So yes, I am a confidence coach, but a lot of my work and the experience of me is energetics. So
that's
I don't know how did, if I help me, did I explain that in a way that makes sense?
no, I said that's beautifully put. I really like that.
Yeah.
I believe when we started this call before recording, I believe so, you were mentioning that you do meditate and things like that. Is that the only way of you getting unwind, or is there anything else that you do to unwind yourself after a long day of work, or like you're hearing too many stories like this? So what do you exactly do?
Yeah, it's so funny. So because I have YouTube and I post teaching there and stuff, I can teach and help create a meditation. But to be honest, I'm not someone who would sit somewhere for minutes and just not move. I honestly, that's not how I meditate. But that's the thing. It's like we all perceive things differently, and everything is valid. So I believe that all day I'm constantly meditating, and meditation to me is being aware of something and not necessarily reacting to it. So my self-awareness, once again, I'm very aware of a slight move shift in my energy and how my body is either reacting in front of a person or not, tuning into that. To me, that's meditation. I'm constantly in meditation. There, I'm aware that all of a sudden I feel fearful. What's around me? What's going on? Is this me, or is this someone approaching who is carrying fear? Like, I'm so aware to that. That is meditation to me. But you asked you asked about the unwind, because people are sharing their love, and I am experiencing their energy. I do embody people's feelings, especially if I'm coaching. So the simplest way for me to unwind is I put up my eye mask, I put on earplugs, and I just lay in bed. I just lay in bed, because I trust the intelligence of my body. And I would talk to my body. I would say, thank you that you're going to take care of me and you're going to heal. So when my energy is only to myself, simply by closing my eyes, I'm already telling my energy we are healing. I just trust it to restore me, rejuvenate me, do whatever it needs. I may sleep is on my schedule. I don't do anything that's really late, because sleep is a priority to me. So sleep and rest and trusting that my body is going to heal. That's how I unwind. But I do love the nature. Like right now, it's summer now in summer. The sun is shining in Chicago. It's wintertime. And I would go away in the nature. And I love trail and places. There's one here that's like a secret. I feel like nobody knows this place. Is this just for me? So I would get away when there's not a lot of people. I mean, because I'm so sensitive to energy. So I just want to be with me and Mother Earth. And that's it. I get emotional just talking about that. Yeah.
That's nice. What is what is success in your words? Uh-huh.
Success. Yes, success, right? Yes, great question. Right. So for me, it all ties into my practice. It all goes back to when I'm attending to myself, when I'm not ignoring how I feel, when I'm not ignoring how my energy wants to be expressed, I feel successful in that. I like, there's been many times, as well as there's been many nights where I've been lonely, but felt lonely, but there's been many nights as well where I lay down and I literally feel like this could really be the end of my life, and I feel so fulfilled. And if I'm getting emotional, oh my gosh, like when I say that, like I'm getting emotional, I'm so aware. But when I say that, I feel like it's me saying, you see me, you see me. That's my relationship with myself. So those nights where I feel like this could be the end of my life and I feel fulfilled, when I reflect, I realize that throughout that day, I was really present to myself. My energy wanted to write, and I would write. My energy wants to dance, and I dance. My energy actually wants to go to the nature, and I go. Where I'm following how my energy is moving, and that feels fulfilling to me. But of course, like I said earlier, there are nights when I feel frustrated and I'm feeling my humanity who feels lonely, wants somebody next to me, like all of that, not one expression or one experience is better than the other. All of this makes up me, and that makes me feel successful, that I'm present to all of my experiences.
Okay, thank you for tuning in, and you can find me on all the socials at Smitha Gunturi and the show notes for any resources mentioned. See you next week. Take care.